Okay, thank you, mate. Good to see you again. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
See ya. Graham and Linda, please. Or maybe just Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My wife has got a strep throat, so and she does a lot of the talking, so I'm going to have to work very hard to replace her contribution.
We all have a cross to bear.
And thank you, councillors, for the opportunity as well. So Linda and I, we own a house at Monarch Drive in Robinson's Bay, and we've had properties in Akaroa for nearly 40 years, initially in Devotionals, but latterly for the last 3 years in Robinson's Bay. Our 2 daughters grew up in the area, and our 5 grandchildren are now experiencing the beauty and uniqueness of our bay and harbour area. Like all communities, we face challenges in the Akaroa area, and water is one of the main ones. We've heard our Chief Fire Officer talking about the lack of it, and I'm really talking about how we dispose of it. And it is extremely challenging in Akaroa, which is essentially a closed-off area. And as the climate change occurs, our problem is going to become even greater. I would say the council is to be commended for the efforts it's making in trying to resolve our wastewater issues. But in my view, the current plan, as tabled, just won't work. The plan, from what I read, is based on flawed data and assumptions as detailed in that Becker report, which was produced in April. It's likely undersized, and it'll therefore risk overflows in both raw and treated sewage into our harbour. Particularly during times of prolonged wet weather, which, as we've experienced recently. Further, I now understand that Devotionals is to be added to the Robinson's Bay storage structure, which is going to further place challenges around that particular storage facility. And this problem is further exacerbated by high levels of infiltration into our stormwater system through the ageing and broken pipe systems. And I note that council also acknowledged there are evidence that homeowners are allowing rainwater runoff to enter the wastewater drains, thereby further loading what already is an overstretched system. And I would also say, notwithstanding all of this, I can't find any data relating to the operating costs that are planned for this proposed new system, which will be more complicated than the current gravity-fed system and simple harbour outfall. Given all of this, I urge council to pause this proposal. Certainly concentrate on funding the leaking pipework infrastructure we know exists in our Akaroa area, and try and achieve levels of infiltration at 20% or less. And council did signal that in a 2020 recommendation. And I say further, real emphasis should be placed on homeowners to absolutely get out and check that their systems do not discharge rain or stormwater into the wastewater system. I know on a previous property of a neighbour of mine, I observed it happening. He was completely unaware that this was just an absolute no-no, placing further strain on the system. I'm certain there are many, many householders that are guilty, and I think we should be looking to communicate this to them and get some sort of enforcement program happening. Complete all this work and then re-evaluate the data before attempting a new system design, which should also include a cost feasibility analysis of extending the current outfall pipe further up the harbour and beyond the salmon farm, and thereby remove some of the concerns that we have about discharging untreated or raw sewage into the inner harbour area and move the outfall further into the open sea. So that's really my point, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Sarah has a question.
Thank you so much for that. I just wondered, I'm not sure if you were here just earlier, we had the Rural Fire Officer for the area talk about the lack of the availability of water at times.
Yes,
I'm just wondering how you would feel instead of trying to revisit the current approved scheme, if we were able to divert some of that water to ponds further up the hill to allow for firefighting in the area, rather than wasting what's a really valuable resource in a time of a drying climate.
Yeah, look, I think it's got merit. I mean, I only discovered that 5 minutes ago when I was talking to him in the back benches, but I think it's got merit. I mean, he needs water, we're producing it, and we're treating it, and we have to put it somewhere. The issue for me really is, and I worry that we've used average data, we haven't looked at the extreme ends of heavy water environments and conditions, which are really going to put a heavy load on the ground ability to absorb this water. If we can combine with the need to store that water for a likely fire event, I think it's got merit.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be able to do that if we were sending all of the water out up the harbour.
Indeed, that would take that option out of place, certainly.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in and
Thank you,
talking to
Mayor.
us. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors.
Okay, Pepita, please.